How's everything happening? How's it hanging? Yada, 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 yada. So, welcome, guys. This is Uncle Dallas. We are live from our studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. I really hope that this changes your life. It's going to put some things into perspective for you. And that's why I was dealing with this passage for a minute or two. And so I want you to make sure you write this stuff down. Make sure you get everything that you need when it comes to this. Make sure you are in the place where you can receive and walk in what you're about to learn, because this is going to really change. It was better yesterday than stress. Okay, all right. We're not going to deal with the stress today. Today we're just going to deal with the fact that you are in this place and you are at a perfect place to be. Okay, so. Oh, forgot to do something. Let's fix that. Start broadcast. Boom. So, I got Facebook, I got Instagram, I got TikTok, I got a happy day and happy Monday, everybody. I realized something about when I begin to move in life. Guys, do you know that there are a lot of people that need your strength, that need who you are? I'm looking for Facebook. That need who you are and need you to be everything that you were called to be. There are a lot of people that need that. And people, they need it in such a way that you are important to their overall life. And what I'm realizing as I begin to move into the things that I'm moving into, I realize that some of us, some of us, view status is not up. I think my Instagram is not up, guys. Let's see. Yes, it is. There we go. Okay, there we go. I was just making sure the Instagram was up because Instagram is kind of one of our important people. Yes, it is. There we go. Okay. Now, so what we're going to talk about today is, first of all, lovely day, such a lovely day. When I'm in, what does it say? How does the song go? When the days that lie ahead of me seems impossible at first, then someone else instead of me always seems to know the worst. Then I look at you and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Okay, so a lovely day. Today I want to talk about something that is very interesting. I think everybody's there. Got my Facebook, I got my Instagram, got my YouTube, got my TikTok. Everybody's there. All my mentees are there. I sent out the link. Everybody, hello, good morning, grand rising, and let's see something amazing happen. Now, I am a big advocate, and everybody, if you are part of our mentoring course and you're part of anything, anytime you've ever taught, anytime you taught, you do know I am huge on taking notes. I'm huge on writing, scripting, whatever you want to call it. I'm huge on it. Let's do black today. Yeah, let's do black. I am huge on those areas. I am amazingly huge on it. And now I knew that I was huge for a reason, but I didn't understand the reason until just recently. Recently, I'm writing something and I'm studying something and I'm going, what in the world is going on here? So now, let's do this a little bit. So now I began to study this subject, and as I studied this subject, I understood what the importance was to what I was saying. Now, for those of you that are actually reading or watching something, we're going to be in the book of Habakkuk. Nah, these put a shade on my eyes like I'm trying to be cool. We're going to be in the book of Habakkuk. And most of us that have read this passage or understood this, most of us have looked at it from a standpoint of just about writing the vision, making it plain, and all those kind of things. We looked at it from that standpoint. But I'm going to show you a standpoint that I did not see myself in reading the passage. I'm going to show you something that I did not. What I'm going to show you right now is the power of your vision. Now, let me get this off my desk. Now, when you understand something, there are two major parts of vision that you have to understand. And most of us understand one. We don't understand two Because we've never been taught we've never been taught to. If you go to church, they tell you to take notes and write down your notes and all these kind of things. I'm going to tell you the key to getting to the next level. Something that is not about preaching. It's not about Holy Ghost. It's not. This is so spiritual that it supersedes anything that happens. It makes sense to why people are being successful. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to really blow your mind. So stay to the end so you'll understand. Make sure you take good notes. Now, just for my knowledge, if you are here, I need you to type in the comments, I'm here. If you're on Instagram, what I need you guys to do is go and invite 10 people. Send me a thumbs up when you invite 10 people. If you're on TikTok, go invite some people. There are people that need to hear what I'm about to share with you guys this morning. Good morning. Because it made so much sense to me when I finally got it. When I finally understood it, it made so much sense to me. Because now we're going to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. But I'm going to give people some time to kind of invite some folks, to go tell some people that want to be here, they want to be here. I don't know why that keeps blinking. But I bind that up. I'm not going to let that happen because this is going to be powerful. I promise you. This one is I would say a money back guarantee, but you're not putting any money out, so whatever. So where's my pen? I got to keep a pen around because I always write down the reason I write notes, here we go, right here. This one look for. The reason I write notes is because when I write notes, no water. When I write notes, there's sometimes some things are said to me and vision. There's some things that are said to me, and when I say to me, I got to write them down because I remember God will say something and I'll say, oh, shoot, I got to remember that. So I write that stuff down. Remember, I'm big on writing. So go and invite your 10. Nobody's inviting 10. Invite your 10. Send it out. I'm here. Really, brown girl? You going to just mess with me, bro? Listen, I was going to do it. My wife had some things she wanted to do and I couldn't get it done. So that's okay. Everybody, good morning, everybody, and Uncle Dallas. Hey, Jasmine, how you doing? So this is going to be a life changer for most of us. And I say us because it happens to me. This book is about to become my gold mine. This is my notebook. This is not my Bible. My Bible is there. This book is about to become, now hear me guys, y'all gonna think I'm crazy. This book is about to become more important than my Bible. I'm telling you. This book is about to become more important than my Bible. Now, let's start with two things. If you're taking notes, there are two things you need to write on your notes. Okay, we got you. We got some people invited. Two things you need to write in your notes. Number one, declaration, decree. Declaration or decree. First thing you need to write in your notes, a declaration. I promise you, when you get this revelation, it will change your life. If you're not a part of the mentoring class, if you're not coming to the retreat, oh my God, guys, we already have 12 people that have already registered for the retreat, and they're all trying to get double rooms. So I'm glad for double rooms. We only have 10 guys. So if you want to be a part of the retreat, you want to get that $100 discount, make sure that you register before the end of the month. If you cannot register before the end of the month, let me know if you're a part of the mentoring class. Let me know so I can help you to get your discount. But I can't hold it for all because we're trying to get enough seats that we can get some more double rooms. But anyway, that be said. Now, so the first one you're going to go to is Mark, the 11th chapter. Okay, we're going to Mark, the 11th chapter. That's in the New Testament, and that's it. Mark, the 11th chapter. And this one is very familiar to us. Wow, I need to add that to this is very familiar to us. Now, first thing is declaration. Now, I'm not going into every one of the scriptures, and I will go into the have what you say scriptures. I'll go into that. I'll go into that for my mentor. Let me write that down. Where's mine? I need a notepad I can write on because I got little sticky notes. Scriptures about talking, saying. Oh, it doesn't matter. I remember that. Okay. First of all, Mark, the 23rd chapter. Mark, the 11th chapter. Now, here is the first part. This is the part that people will teach you, but churches haven't really dug into because we don't understand it. We really didn't understand it, because a lot of people need to understand the difference in perpetual law and circumstantial law. What you have to realize, number one, guys. Oh, I said I want to go use these glasses. What you have to understand, number one, guys, before you write. Matter of fact, make this the top. Before you wrote, I'm sorry, number one is decree. Right across the top of your paper, I live in God. I live under God's power. I live under God's power. Somebody write that. Type that in there. I live under God's power. I am going to change your life. You're going to love me for this, because it's going to make sense. How many of you have wondered, how come people that don't know God, don't want to know God, how come they are prospering? They are wealthy, they have money, they have all these different things, and those are the things that you want. This was the catalyst by which the prosperity message prospered. This is why I went, because everybody go, I want what they got. How do I get what they got? How do I get a wife? How do I get a husband? How do I do this? And what happened was, we never understood it because we thought it was about prayer and just praying, when in actuality, that was not what it was about. Guys, I'm telling you, my links keeps jumping. That was not what it was about. So what happened was, we built this whole organization and ministry over these three principles. And these three principles will actually change your life. First principle is, I am the God of my situation. That's principle number one. Principle number two is declaration. Is declaration. I mean, introducing things to your atmosphere. That's principle number two. So we look at Mark, the 11th chapter, in the 23rd verse. We'll look at the 23rd verse. And it says this. This is the principle. 22 says, answered and said unto them, have faith in God. Isn't that interesting? Have faith in God. Number one, I'm under the power of God. Everybody can type that. I'm under the power of God. I'm under the power of God. So check this out. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, I think I know what's wrong. I think I know why it's jumping, because of the thing. Yeah, I think I know what's wrong. It says, for verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he says. Now, let's dig this down for a second. He says, verily, verily, I say unto you, that whosoever shall say to this mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart. Now, here is the number one thing you're going to have to deal with number one. Number one, most of you have a contingency plan. I'm talking to one of my brothers earlier today. He has a contingency plan. He said, I want this to happen, but if it doesn't, you got to get rid of the but if it doesn't, because the but if it doesn't puts you in a position where you're thinking to yourself, I've got to have a fallback. I got to make sure that this happens. But and I was telling him, I said, when you really went into certain things, you went all the way in. But because those things were not successful when you tried, you now kind of go halfway in. You don't go all the way in. You kind of go almost in. You don't go all the way in. That's all I got. And so what you have to understand is your contingency plan has to go away. If you cannot believe all the way, you're going to hinder your opportunity to see the manifestation of God's fullness. You'll see an alternate, but his fullness. There is no need to be afraid of it. No need to be upset about it. You can have what you say. This is what it says. You can have what you say. But if you take that and go to John the 15th chapter and the 7th verse, and you put those together, he said, if he doesn't doubt in his heart. So that means John 15 says, if ye abide in me and my word abide in you. So that means if you abide in him and my word. Now what the word does, the more you hear from God, the more you hear the word he said and the word he's saying, the more your faith is built, because the more you believe God is real. The more you create the atmosphere, the more God can operate within that atmosphere and he can change your life. So some of you go, well, I'm really not believing. I'm hurting and pain. I have my bills to do. All these situations that happen. Put more of your spirit out there. Create the atmosphere more. Press into this thing. Press into it. And when you press into it, it builds your belief and you're solidifying your position in the spirit. It solidifies your position in the spirit. So what you have to learn to do is build yourself on your most holy faith, getting that, reading the Bible, but not just staying with the Bible going, no, no, no. You're reading the Bible because you see the acts of God, because whatever happens in here can happen to you. Now you're praying because you're creating an atmosphere, because whatever happens in there, he can speak into your life. Whatever happens on this planet, it can happen to you. If somebody hits the lottery, if somebody, gets a good husband, my wife and I love at first sight. Everything that you want can happen to you, but you have to solidify the position that you have in God. Number one, he is. Hebrews 11:6. In order to please God, you must first believe that he is. That's where we have our challenge. We jump from preacher to church, when the only thing you need, if you never go to church again, is a belief in God. That's why the first passage says, have faith in God. What is faith? Have the evidence and the substance that God is real. Have the evidence and substance that God is real. Here's what I'm telling you. You've never been taught faith. What you've been taught is rituals. This is why some of you have gone to church for years and nothing has happened, because you've been taught rituals. And because you've been taught rituals, you think a ritual causes God to move. There are five things that offer or create the atmosphere of God for your life. There are five things, and I taught them to my class. I'll teach them again a little bit later. So what you have to understand is the ritual that takes place. The ritual that takes place is not designed for you to get to God. It's designed for you to reverence the religion. Rituals are designed to reverence religion. It's interesting that when we talk about communion, he said, as often as you do this in remembrance of me. Meaning, as often as you do it, not the time that it's first Sunday and you wear the white gloves and all that kind of stuff. As often as you do. Everything is pointing toward the freedom to do what God has called you to do. So the first thing you have to do in these things is you have to make sure you believe that God is. Look around your life in the small areas. If you have to sit around and go, okay, I noticed that. How does this work? How does this work? How does this work? Now, I'm not telling you to negate science, because God gave science. Let me tell you a little secret I learned. The Illuminati, from the beginning, used to take the references of information from the Bible and try to prove them in the world. That was the first purpose of the Illuminati, saying that this is real. Which means that the system that we're on and the Illuminati system, all these systems that you think are these terrible systems, were based on the fact that this thing is real and the spirit is real. Now, when you understand that he's real, then he says, okay, whatever you say to this mountain will happen. You cannot doubt. You can't say the mountain is big. Look at David. You can't say there's too many people. Look at Jehoshaphat. No matter what you can say, it's not too big for you to get it. But you have to realize, as you create the atmosphere, the power then takes place. Has everybody got that part? Everybody got that part? Number one, somebody type in now, I believe God is real. Coach, this is Dallas. I need you to call me. You're right on time. I told somebody I was going to talk to you today on the phone. Coach Hinton, call me. Now, that's the number one. Type in, I believe God is real. You got to start there. I believe God is real. I believe God is real. I'm gonna tell y'all something interesting. I told you guys I did a business consulting thing for a minute or two. And so I get these opportunities. I say to my wife, follow me. I say to my wife, my wife is a travel agent. She goes to Puerto Rico. When she goes to Puerto Rico, she has a girls trip. She does a girls trip every year. And this year, I think they're going to Cancun. But she does a girls trip every year. Last year, she did a girls trip in Puerto Rico. Why? Because a lot of people didn't have passports. Because my wife likes these really nice resorts. So when she goes to Puerto Rico, I said, why don't you get one of those mansions that has everybody in it, or set up a resort down there? She said, there's no all-inclusive resorts down there. And she said, there are no mansions down there in Puerto Rico. I said, wow, you know what you should do? You should, now this is what, follow me. I said, you should find out how to build a resort down there, and then you can offer that resort there, because that's a perfect opportunity for people to go to Puerto Rico. Guys, the next month, they passed a law for the tax changes in Puerto Rico. Wealthy people have been rushing down there, buying up property and building resorts, like I just said. So what would have happened had not only I said it, I follow what I said with action? You follow me? Now, he showed me something else about Puerto Rico. And so I have to realize that I can have what I say, but guess what happened to me? I'm going, how am I going to get how am I going to get money for this property? I start thinking about all these different things that were not my security. I start thinking about all these things that did not secure who God was. They were the limitations that I carried in my own life. Some of you have stuck limitations in the back of your mind, and every time your spirit goes through, your spirit is murky. This is just water, guys. This is just water in a tea bag. But this is what happens to your spirit. Your spirit is murky. This was just water. Add tea bags to it. So this is how you say you believe God, and the more water you put in, the more water I put in this cup, the clearer it will become. But it's still a tea bag in the bottom of it. It's still a tea bag there. You still are looking at the fact. You're still looking at the fact that there is something in the water that's not allowing you to move the way you need to move. Is it your past? Is it the fact that you have not been taught? Is it the fact you fear? Whatever the situation is, you have to get to the point of understanding that situation is set to make you stop moving. Had I really said, okay, now I pulled away from the business aspect, I should have given it to him. There's Coach Hinton, there's Coach Houston, all these different people have come to me, and I could have given that information to them. But what I had to realize was there is no backing up. There is no default mechanism. There is no what if this happens or what if this doesn't happen. You have to realize that your spirit is not designed to fail. We fail because we're afraid of what we think we know. We're afraid of what we think we know. I'm talking to my brother earlier today, and he said, well, you know what, the way the economy is here in this, and I said, hold it. Here's the arrogance of humanity. Here's the ego of humanity. The ego of humanity experiences something and then designs the entire world around what it experienced. So you date one girl or you date one guy and he breaks your heart. So all of a sudden all men are dogs and all women are whatever they are. You go into one situation and that situation fails, so I'm never going to do it again. You have generalized situations because you failed in them or you didn't get enough information for you to succeed in them. Then all of a sudden something is urging your spirit to move into an area and you bring all the things that hurt you, all the things that broke you into that situation. And what you've done is you have told your spirit and God, I know more than you do. I understand this better than you do. Why? Because I've experienced it. And that's how some of us feel. So what you've done is you've taken those things and remember if you were with me Sunday, you've taken those things and you've attached those things to your life. If you're watching me Sunday, you know what this means. You've attached those things to your life. So what happens is it's a nice shirt, but it's got stuff attached to it. And that's what's happening to you. It's got stuff attached to you. And somebody comes to you and says something that's against your attachment. You're looking at them like, no, I'm good. And they're looking at you like, no, but you got no, I'm good. Well, do you want to be married? I don't want to be married. You sure you don't want to be married? Why? You know why you don't want to be married? Because the last relationship you dealt with, they hurt you. Why don't you start a business? I don't know. You know why you don't want to start a business? Because the last time somebody talked to you about business, they failed. And so what happens is your declaration is now skewed or altered by your experience. So what happens is you start thinking about all the things that failed you, all the things that hurt you, all the situations that were bad. You think about all these different things when none of those things are your reality. None of your things are your reality. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. Follow me here. I told you, first of all, those of you that know me, that know that I was blessed with a Mercedes-Benz S-Series, big body. I was blessed. Didn't pay a dime for it. But I'm going to tell you something that happened before that. I was in a parking lot in Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, Georgia on Windy Hill Road. Those of you in Atlanta know where that is. I was at a Chick-fil-A in Windy Hill Road. While I was at Chick-fil-A, a friend of mine was talking to a guy that was in a black Mercedes-Benz. So I walked by and I said, are you okay, honey? Because I was checking on her because she was just by herself. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And so the guy has a Mercedes-Benz. I say these words to the guy. I say, hey, why don't you sell me that Mercedes-Benz? The guys, I didn't have the money to buy a Mercedes-Benz. If that was the case, I wouldn't be wanting one. Why don't you sell me that Mercedes-Benz? He looks into the car and he says, no, these are the words he says to me. We don't want to sell it. That was it. I wasn't listening because one of my insecurities was kicking up. Now, I knew that I was focused on that. I knew my spirit was saying something different. It said it to me. My spirit said it to me. And so I said, okay, I drove off. When I drove off, I get home, I get a call 4 hours later. A friend of mine that I knew, one of my pastor friends, said, were you at Chick-fil-A? I'm like, wow, God is really using you. She said, no, the guy you talked to was my dad, and he was in the car with his best friend. And I said, oh, why? She said, what did you say to my dad? I said, would you sell me the car? She said, why did you say that? I said, because I wanted the car. She said, why didn't you ask for the car? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Dad, I said, why? She said, because 3 hours later, he gave it away. 3 hours later, he gave it away. Because I was so arrogant in my thought process that I didn't say what God said to me and follow what I had been saying. Now, some of you just got set free right there. Some of you right at that moment just realized what was your hindrance and why you haven't moved forward. Why? Because in your mind, you are prepared for failure, but you have never prepared for victory. You have prepared for failure, but you've never prepared for victory. What is happening? You're prepared for failure, but you're not prepared for victory. And so what happens to you is you then find yourself in a position where victory offers itself. And when victory, I know what's wrong. When victory offers itself, you are not prepared for it because you're used to failing. And so now you're stuck in that position where your sickness defines you, your past defines you, your fears define you, and all of that. And it changes the way you talk. Matthew says, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So all I have to do is follow you around and listen to what you say, and I'll know that you have been those areas. But here's the interesting thing. That power inside of you doesn't go away. Things that are on the level that you think you can acquire, you'll speak those things and go after those things in a minute. A woman will fail at a husband, but she'll go into hoe mode. I think that's what that lady did. Oh, it doesn't matter. She'll go out there and dress all sassy and go after something that she thinks she can get. But for you, vision is granted spiritual insight. That's what vision is, granted spiritual insight. So you have granted spiritual insight in the vision. So when God speaks something to your spirit, this is why I tell you to create your atmosphere. There is nothing that's going to stop you from getting it but these things. So the first thing God may tell you to do, hey, I need you to forgive. What? Forgive. You say, okay, I forgive. And when you forgive, you're moving closer to your vision. He said, the second thing I need you to do, I need you to give. What do you mean give? Be a blessing. Go give. I don't care what you give. Give of yourself. Give. He said, well, let's do it this way. Not only, I want you to go down to the daycare center and I want you to volunteer. Okay, why? Because he's getting your ego out of the way. Next thing I want you to do is get beyond your fear. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Get beyond your fear. How? More information chases away fear. And so now you're dealing with those things that are so close to you. See, I can see those on my chest. These two I can't see. So get rid of those things. So what he needs to do, he said, get up every time Uncle Dallas is on and listen. So now you're sitting here listening, but you're not intaking. You got to start intaking this thing. You got to start moving in those directions because you're asking God something, asking for something that your spirit has the capabilities to present to you and give to you, but your mind blocks the ability for it to happen. There is no reason you can't be wealthy and self-sustaining, not in this environment. But you're fighting this spiritual battle against your mind and your flesh, so you can't say what you believe. You have to say what they tell you to say. But I'm going to show you a little trick. Go to Habakkuk. And don't worry, one of these days, guys, I'm going to have this little real cool. When the organization really gets started, I'm going to have people that can shift and show the videos and all that kind of stuff. Right now, it's just me. It's just me. It's just me. Habakkuk. Now, here is why this is going to become the most important book of my life. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, and it says, on the first verse, start the first verse. It says, I will stand upon the watch, set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me. Now we talk about God, and he answered, and what he shall answer when I am reproved. You've just been reproved. You've just been saying, look, you've been living beneath your privileges, bad you, let's get out of that. He said, I'm going to look at what I'm going to say. I'm going to watch. I'm sitting at a high place and I'm going to begin to watch. Here's something that's very interesting to me. Every person that has invested something into into the spiritual retreat, God has blessed them. Every one of them. God has blessed them. If he wants them there, he's blessed them. Why? Because there is a part of this I need you guys to understand. Guys, I'm telling you, I don't know. This is tripping me out. I don't know what plug is messing up, but I'm trying to sit very, very still so this thing doesn't go off. Okay? Now follow me here. This is what you've been taught. Verse 2. And the Lord answered and said unto me, write the vision and make it plain upon the tablets, that they may run that read it. For the vision, well, that's all you've been taught. Write the vision, right? Write the vision. Why? Let me help you out with something that blew my mind. Let me settle, make sure I don't touch nothing, because you need to catch this. The vision that God gave you is so powerful and so potent, you have to write it down. Why? When you write something down, you make a contract with your future. Writing, and I mean literally journaling, taking a pen and writing it. I thought this was a temporal. I told you there are eternal principles and there are temporal principles. I thought write the vision was a temporal principle, but write the vision is an eternal principle. It's a powerful principle. Here is what blessed me and messed my whole world up. Right now, there is a generation of children that don't know how to write in cursive. There is a secret attack, and nobody's paying attention to it, that don't know how to write in cursive, which means they don't know how to write their own signature. Which means that there is power in what you write. So when he says, write the vision, make it plain, because it is so powerful, you have to break it down to people that want to help your vision. What I want to do with Higher Standards is so large because he laid it in my brain that it blows my mind. What I am teaching you guys is so cutting edge, is so under the other side, that some of you are still going, I got to go pay my tithes. Because you've been so inundated with this thing. But he said, take a pen, take a slice of paper, not a piece, a slice of paper, because they had to cut their paper, and you write the vision. Why? Because vision, it does three things. Number one, it causes you to obey God. Number two, it sets a declaration. It sets a contract with your future. And number three, it gives you the opportunity to break it down to people that are there to help it. Why? Because when he gives you a vision, what is a vision? Spiritual granted insight to something. He has let you see the future and showed you what the future was. And he said, now write this down so that you have a contract between me and the vision. You have a contract between God and the vision. So what you've done is you've caused yourself to move in an area where you now are in contract and agreement with the vision. That's not even the cool part. That was not even the cool part. So now when you write the vision, as you begin to use your utterance invites and introduces the vision to your atmosphere. It invites and introduces the vision to your atmosphere. So you write down the vision, you break it down. You want a warehouse, you want it to look like this, and you want it to be like this. And what happened to you is you start doing it in your mind. Because you do it in your mind, it never goes anywhere, because in your mind, you only make a contract between your mind and your body. Come on, preach, Uncle Dallas. But when you write this thing down, you say, God, what you gave me, I agree with. And so when you write it down, my God, you set a covenant with God. And so what you do is you begin to read the covenant to remind God, he already remembers what he asked of you and what he told you. But when you write it down, you set a contract with your future. You are now taking a pen, taking a pad, and you are prophetically predicting what's going to happen in your life. Now, that's number one. Now, let me tell you the craziest part of this whole thing. That was still not the crazy part. And so I said, that was the first part was, he said, isn't it interesting that I have a friend of mine, he takes care of young kids, and the mother died or something. And he said, you have to go and sign the contract so that you can get the thing. He said, sign it. The little boy, who was at the time 11, wrote his name. He said, ma'am, sir, young man, you have to write your name in cursive. He said, I don't know how to write in cursive. So he began to write his name as they showed him how to write in cursive. Why? Because your scripting is more powerful than anything on this planet. Baby, check this out. Why are they making more money than you? Why are they doing more things to you? Because they have written what they call a business plan. And what the business plan does is makes a contract between the vision and God. That's why we have business plans. Because you say in your spirit that I can change the world if I get this thing done. So you sit down with a pen, take it from pen to typing, take it from typing to computer, but you hold on to this copy of it. Why? Because this is the raw copy of what God said to you. Now, they may not see the whole copy, but they got the raw copy. Find every great speaker, and he will show you notes and notes and notes and notes and things that he wrote on napkins, on little pieces of paper. Why? Because he is now riding the visual movement of God, because God has granted him insight into the future. What? I'm sitting here looking at this thing. He said, and the Lord said unto me, write the vision. And I'm going, I got that. He goes, no, you're granted an insight that goes beyond your perfect position, goes beyond your pay grade, goes beyond anything. It pierces your pain. It pierces your fear. It pierces those things that failed, and begins to say, if you write this vision, and you begin to decree what the vision says. You know what decreeing the vision says? It's reading the covenant out. You begin to read the covenant out. And the covenant says, I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above only and not beneath. I will make things. I'm above only and not beneath. I will follow the processes of this thing. And you hold on to it because it's a contract, baby. It's a contract, sweetie. It's a contract with your future. Mess me up. How many times have you wanted to do something, and instead of writing it down, you just kind of said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I've been telling you guys over and over and over and over again, right? Every night before you go to bed, write down what you want to do tomorrow. You just put a contract between God. This is what I want to accomplish tomorrow. And what will happen is your spirit will begin to remind you of the things, or you begin to look at that. Okay, I'm supposed to work on this. Okay, I'm supposed to work on this. They write. All of them. They write. They write in such a way that they create an opportunity and an atmosphere for God to work in. Everybody heard me and understood that. Tell me that if you really understood that, I want you to type "I got it." If you really understood what I just said, I want you to type "I got it." See, here's what happens with most of you. Most of us, not even you, because this happened to me. Remember, Puerto Rico, the Mercedes, but all these things happen because I got these things attached to me that I don't want to deal with because my ego won't say I'm broken. Ego won't say I need change. But what you have to realize, like I told you Sunday, every day you get up. Yesterday, every day you get up, it's a new place. It's a new thing every day. But here's what we have to understand. We have taken our power and we've allowed our power to be used by people that knew we were powerful. Listen, when you begin to write on a consistent basis, what you will begin to realize is that the more you write, the more God says, I see your trust. The more contracts you make. This should be a book of contracts. Yes, I do. I was about to say, I don't have one of my, look at this book. Look at this. Notepads, markers, pens. I got clips in it. I got clips in it. Look at this. I got clips in it, notes in it, notes and notes and notes and notes. I look back and I wrote a book. I had already written a book that I didn't even know I wrote. Why? Now, over beside me, I got a stack of books. I had no books I had to throw away. Now, why? So every time I write something, I can go back. There was called a thing I was called Single Man Celebration. I wrote it down. Y'all can see, I wrote it down. There it is. And so now I can look back in 3 years. There are books and things I've written I have had for years. And when I go back, listen, hold it. How many of you that are part of the mentoring group got the notes on Press the Mark? Got these notes? Yeah, there we go. How many got these notes? Press the Mark, you got the notes. Check it out. These notes were written in 2009. Now, here's the crazy part. Let's watch this. This is what's the blessing part of this. Check this out. Verse 2 says, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon the tablets. That means write it down on the tablet. When you write it down on a piece of paper, make it plain. Make it plain on the tablet that they may run that read it. There are people right now, relax because I'm excited. There are people right now in the, I think there's 1,000. I should be like having 5,000 doggone likes. Y'all know, there are people right now. There are people right now that are supposed to be a part of the vision, the higher standards. There are people right now that are supposed to be a part of the vision of higher standards. Right now, right at this very moment. And you know it. There are people that are, and listen, there are people actually moving to Charlotte, North Carolina because this vision is so big and God laid it in their heart. So what I have to have is written down so they say, okay, chapter 1 I got. That's D Boom. Chapter 1 I got. So what you have to realize is when that thing sets, this is what let me know that it was prophetic. This is what it said. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. He said, this thing that you wrote down is for the vision that will not lie. Isaiah 55 says the words that come out of the mouth of the Spirit will go and accomplish whereunto they send it. They will not lie. It will do what it was sent to do. The vision will happen if you give the vision the detail that it needs. But you have to let go of all the stuff that was attached to you. You have to stop walking in a world where you're just trying to move in a position that does not cause confrontation. When I got this, I realized how powerful it was. So check this out. Let me give you guys just a quick little revelation. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? This is not spiritual. This is just understanding. Do you know what happens to you when you talk to bill collectors on the phone? They don't ever want you to put anything in writing because if you put something in writing, it never goes away. So be careful what you type on all your social media. It never goes away. So what happens is, I was talking to one of my spiritual sons. I was talking to one of my spiritual sons, and he wanted to go in and get a job. And so he was going to go in and sit down with his boss and tell his boss all these different things that he was going to do and how he can make it happen. And I said, let me explain something to you. If it ever becomes a he say, she say thing, you will always lose. I said, because the company is stronger. And they want you to stand in front of them and tell them, oh, you said this and you said this and you said this. Letitia, they're in the app. Go into the app, you can get those notes. And I said, what you need to do is write down exactly what you that you're offering, and you submit it to them. Now, when you submit it, that means no longer is what you're saying, is not what you say, is what's being written. And so now they have to now take what you said seriously, because that's going into somebody's record. You cause people to move because they understand that when you write something, it becomes something that has value and something that has weight. Write the vision. When you get this, my friends, you will stop writing in your notes with hope, and you will write in your notes with power. You will write in your notes, what do you want to do? 2022, my wife and I are going to be millionaires. You can watch it. Why are we going to be millionaires? So we can buy Bentleys and buy rings? No. So we can do what the organization designed for us to do. So we can pay salaries to those people that work here. We can't pay the salaries right now. So if you're coming now, you're just volunteering to help us grow. But that's what's going to happen. So that vision will be written in this book in full detail. Why? Because I understand that when God causes us to write something, what he's saying to us is, I'm giving you the power to utilize your hand to write these things. I bless you with the wood to create the paper to write these things. I take my spirit and I speak to your intellect so you can think the right things for these things. So when you begin to write, you take all the things that God has given you and said, these are the things that I utilize in order to be who God has called me to be. And you make a contract. If you got to read it every day, do not say, well, we hope we get, no. Bottom line, we're going to buy a warehouse. That warehouse is, I'm telling you from, this is from Uncle Dallas. We're going to buy a warehouse. That warehouse is going to be set in segments. There are things that are going to be in the warehouse. I'm not going into the details. The segments in the warehouse, we're going to hire a team of employees, and those people, there's going to be a camera person that takes care of all of this for me. Thank you, God. And there are those going to be people that take care of social media. There are people, all these things. Why? Because we're going to run an organization that helps people get into the power of who they are spiritually, or to live their spiritual life, taking them to a higher standard. That's going to happen. And every year, what we're going to do is take the whole team. We're going to shut down everybody in the whole team. We're going to go to an island, a resort, or someplace they've never been before, and let them experience that next level. Why? Because when you write the vision, you're in a contract with God. Lendeth unto the Lord, give unto the poor, lendeth unto the Lord. God wants to be in contract with you. He wants to be in agreement with you. He wants to be empowered by you. I realized that when I was doing business consulting, it wasn't for me to stay there. It was so I could know to know the Coach Hintons and the Coach Houstons, and it was to know all these people, so that when these things come, we have places that we can go and things that we can do. Listen, you got to start writing. It is imperative that you begin to write down the vision and write it in so much detail. What do you want out of your life? Write it down. Don't write it down like I hope I get it. Write it down in a way that says, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have this house, is going to have these things. Why? Because the abiding of the God inside of me allows me to move into position, because I can have what I say. Then you begin to introduce that vision to your atmosphere. You begin to introduce that vision to your atmosphere every day. Stop looking at your world as if this is the world that belongs to you. This is not your world. You are a spirit. You are a spirit taking territory from what was tried to, what's been stolen from you. That's who you are. There is no friends in this thing. There is no buddies in this thing. All there is the Spirit. Now, what do I mean by that? If God says don't go, I love you. I promise you I do, but I can't go. If God says don't move, I love you. I promise I do, but I can't do it. Why? Because I've got to stay true to a contract I have with God. I've got to stay true to that contract. So if that contract means I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to pray and cause that atmosphere to be presented, then every morning I'm going to take those 5 things and I'm going to create that atmosphere, which is ironic. The 5th thing is declaration. If that means that I'm going to stop watching TV, I'm going to stop playing video games. Why? Because I'm in contract. I'm in contract with God. That means that he's doing his side. I got to make sure I do my side. Now, here's the wonderful thing about God. I may not do it perfectly. I may make mistakes, but his grace is sufficient for me. For where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. And his grace and his mercies are made new every day. So I'm doing the best I can, but don't use the best I can. There's a principle that says, shall I sin that grace may be abound? I don't use the best I can as an opportunity to go, well, I don't feel like doing this today. I stop living in my feelings. I stop living around people, what people think. I stop living around what people define me. And I go to the principles of Philippians that say, forgetting those things which are behind. Every morning I press like I'm in contract. I press every morning like I'm in contract. Every morning, William Dallas is here. I was supposed to be here Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, but I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I was talking to one of my mentees or one of my friends now. One of the higher standard family. When you're in the mentee, you're in the family. I'm going to stop calling you mentees because you're not mentees, you're family. I was talking to the people that are part of the higher standards family. And she said to me, she said, this is how I set my schedule. I get up in the morning, around 10 o'clock, I turn you on. After you get off at 11 o'clock, I go do what I got to do. I said, then I can press a little harder. Then I can press a little harder. I was talking to a friend of mine and he was telling me, he said, Dallas, how in the world are you going to sustain this financially? I said, God is going to take care of me. And when I said that, somebody sent me a cash up, guys, for $5. It was $5. It blessed me so much because the goal is in the vision. Because God said, this will be okay. It will be self-sustaining. Because if God blesses me, God blesses you, God blesses us. We have an organization that now can do great things. But I have to start by writing that vision completely out. Now, this is my sealed notebook. This is my sealed notebook. I've only written, I think, 1 or 2 things on the front. Yeah, this is my sealed notebook. This is the notebook that has all the gems, all the goodies, all the ideas in it, in this notebook. Now, my other notebooks are notebooks for notes, but this will be the notebook that will take. Write the vision. Write your way out of your situation. Script your way out of your circumstances. Script your way out of write your vision. Write your way out. Listen, let me tell you how deep this was to me. One of the classes that we're going to have at the spiritual retreat is going to be called scripting. And we're going to teach you all the details of how to write the vision, how to script, how to decree, how to speak that thing into existence, and how to watch it happen, how to create the atmosphere, how to all of those things, because there are details to it. But if you just do the part that I spoke to you, you'll see your life change. It's a contract with God. So here it is. When you write something, it becomes a contract with God. When you act on something, you become a contract with your future. Say it again. When you write something, that's a contract with God. When you act on what you wrote, like read it every day, what you do is you then set a contract with the future. You now say prophetically, this is what we're going to do, to the point that your mind already knows it. What's going on, Bernard? To the point that your mind already knows it. Now, every person that did send that $5 he sent, I pray over the $5, he's going to get 100. Or she's going to get 100. Why? Because once you act on the vision, you ignite something spiritual where God now says, I see you now. And now that I see you, I can now do something. Now, let me take a quick thing. I'm gonna take a quick step. So now I know what we do because we write the vision. So check this out. Because I gotta shut down. It's about 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut this down in about 5 minutes. Now, here's what I'm gonna give you. Follow me now. Write your way out of your situation. Now, follow me. Right now, you have financial challenges. Right now, you have situations. You have all these situations that are happening. Okay? You have financial situations. You have situations with your family. You have situations with this. Stop complaining about them. Start writing it out. Write the solution. Start writing the solution. What's the solution? My children, listen, if your children are over 25, they're not children. You're a spiritual advisor. Stop trying to run your children's life because they're not your children anymore. They're adults. But anyway, my children are going to be sound and solid. I hold this accountable to God. God, this is a contract between me and you. My financial situation. God, I thank you that Deuteronomy 8:18 says that you are God gives the power to get wealth to establish his covenant. God, between you and I, you will establish your covenant through me in finance. In 2022, we will not have any more financial problems. You come to conclusions with a conclusive God. And when he says something, if he wakes you up in the night and says, listen, cash out Uncle Dallas $1,000, get up, do it. You're in contract with him. He has to answer. If he gets up and says, get up, move to North Carolina and join the organization, do it. You follow me? But get your confirmation. Don't just do I'm doing it. See if I'm doing it. Do it. He's got you. He's got you. If he tells you to ask somebody for forgiveness, do it. What he's doing is pulling off all the little things that you have in your life that are stopping you from seeing the salvation of the Lord. He has done it for you. The problem that you've had and the challenge that you're going to deal with is the fact that you have not let go of the little things that stop the process from your mind into your body. Now, let's go back to what I just said. I said something about sending $1,000, $5, $10. Anything you send it like this. God, according to your contract with me, I'm sending this. Somebody type, according to your contract. According to your contract. Right there. According to your contract, ... According to the contract, ... Somebody write that. According to my contract, ... Write it. Somebody type that in it. According to my contract, ... And that's what you say. When you write your stuff down, you hold God. Hallelujah. According to my contract with you, God, I know we're going to be wealthy. According to your contract, I'm going to find a good husband. According to the contract, I'm going to find a good wife. According to the contract, we're going to have the house we need. According to the contract, my car is going to be paid off. My bills are going to be paid off. According to my contract. According to the contract. I got 2 minutes. Habakkuk says, write the vision, make it plain. Once you write the vision, begin to recite the vision. Remind yourself, because God already knows the vision. I had a watch right here the whole time. Now, according to the vision, write the vision. You gotta watch. Write the vision. Now, I'm going to do 3 things. How many people would like to be a part of the mentoring group? It is a free mentoring class. If you want to be a part of the mentoring class, please let me know. If you're not a part of the mentoring class, you need to become a part of the mentoring class. You really need to be a part of the mentoring class. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, that's it for my YouTube people and my Instagram people. I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions, comments, and concerns? According to my contract, I'm going to have peace, love in my household. According to your contract. Give God the power to do it. Now, those of you that would like to be a part of the mentoring group, if you are on TikTok, screenshot. Oops, sorry, did this crazy. If you're on TikTok, screenshot this. If you're on TikTok, screenshot this. All right? I keep hitting something that is knocking my thing off. If you're on TikTok, screenshot this. All right? If you're on TikTok, screenshot this. Okay? All right. Now, here, send me, I want to be a part, or I want to join. Email me there. This is if you need a one-on-one with me for any reason. And this is the Cash App. If you feel like God has blessed you in this and you feel like you are supposed to give something, you give something right there. There is no obligation to give. I'm not going to have a 30-minute how you supposed to give. That's not how that works. So that's what you need to do. Now, if you want to join the class and you're a part of YouTube, yeah, oh my God, according to the contract. If you're part of Instagram, here is Instagram right here. Instagram, you need to go to this email address right here and do the same thing. I just showed them an email address. That's all I showed them. Go to this email address down here. And once you go to this email address, simply say, I want to be a part. Now, I cannot save it because this is not my email. I can't do it on here. Right here. If you want to be a part, try. There it is right there. Right there under Art to Connection. Under Art to Connection, you see that? Art to Connection. That's my wife's thing. Now, those of you that want to join the family, that's the family. All right? Okay. I appreciate everybody. This is it for if you're on the YouTube. Now, if you have any pertinent questions. Oh, y'all writing up. Y'all taking that. Y'all like that according to my contract. Y'all like that. Y'all just going crazy on that thing. Hey, Silk. Y'all like that. According to your contract. According to my contract. That's why you have to write this stuff out. Write it down. Write it down in detail. If you got to write it down in detail, this is my, bless you, God. This is my contract between you, me, you, God. This is our contract. We will. See, you can't write a contract with hope. You got to write a contract with will. We will have this. We will have this. We will have this. And you remind yourself every day. When things go crazy financially, you start going, wait a minute. My contract said, look, that's not in my contract. Failure is not in my contract. That's not in my contract. All right? YouTube, guys, I love you so much. I thank you. If you go to Instagram, if you have an Instagram account, go to Instagram or go to TikTok. We do a question and answer after this. I think I'm eventually do a YouTube just right after this doing question and answer. We're going to do a question and answer on TikTok and we're going to do it on Instagram. So if you're on one of those two platforms, go to those two platforms and we'll do that. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys for joining us. I appreciate you guys for being a part.